welcome to Chaotic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com, and it's my great pleasure to be speaking with my good friend Tom Collier from the band Held Hostage. Tom is the lead singer, guitarist, and songwriter from the band, and you guys are based out of New York, right, Tom?
Yeah, Syracuse, New York, man. Thanks, Jason, for having us on here. Yeah, we're in Syracuse, New York area, but we're all over the place, man.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Tom. In the last few years, Held Hostage has become one of my all-time favorite bands, and part of that is not just the band's music, but the people working with the band behind the scenes. I mean, the publicist you had up until recently, Benjamin from Online Metal Promo, he's the one who initially hooked us up, and he's great at what he does. Great, and in fact, he hooked me up as I was sharing with you when we were chatting this morning, getting ready to do the interview. He hooked me up with KNAC. I'm doing interviews for them as well. So thanks to Benjamin and Online Promo. But I also got to tell people that you're kind of moving up. That's how good the band is. That the publicist you're working with now, Michael Brandville, he's got a lot of great acts he works with. But just to kind of drop names who he used to work with, the legendary Kiss. I think he's also worked with Britney Spears. So you guys getting some.
Ozzy, he's worked with Accept, Dream Theater, Britney Spears, Madonna. This guy's worked with everybody. We're pretty happy to have landed on a label with him there. It's just a great deal. And he'd reached out to me about a year ago. Michael did, and we've been talking. He said, "I understand you might be looking for a publicist." And I sent him the music. He really loved the music. He believes in the band, and that's important. You gotta have somebody that believes in the band. The same thing with our new record label, Fire Rock Music Group. Those guys absolutely love the band. It's a brand new record label. We were the first band signed to them. I mean, they're going to sign mega bands, but they believed in Held Hostage so much, and they loved this album. They just said this is the new album. They loved Epic, but this album right here is like Epic's on steroids.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to tell people because. In fact, when we were chatting today, back and forth, prepping for the interview today, Tom, one of the things I said to you was, I really loved the last album, Epic. I mean, the title is so simple, but it says it because you get done listening to that album, it is epic. I mean, every song on that album was great. I mean, there was not one filler track on there. It was just so good, and I was really, I was really glad to see that you guys were able to do it. But I mean, for a while, like, how are they going to top that? And you guys somehow you managed to top yourselves because this album, if possible, is even better with that.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of compliments. I mean, some of the people have called us our best album to date, and then when writing it was really important to me that I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone and I just did some different things in here. And I mean, it really, like the song "Rise," that was just it's an acoustic version. It's an acoustic song, and Ripper steps in. He's one of the most melodic singers in the world.
Oh yeah.
And what he did with that song, I mean, I had wrote that because there was a couple of guys had committed suicide in the band.
Oh wow.
And I thought, I write this song on a Friday night. On a Saturday morning, I get a call from this woman, Joanne Longley, and she says, "Are you Tom Collier with Held Hostage?" I said, "Yes." She says, I'm head of the Suicide Prevention and Awareness, and I'm having a concert this fall. Wanted to know if Held Hostage would play." And I said, "Are you kidding me? Last night I wrote a song, Rise, about suicide." So we ended up headlining a concert, had a great show, and in fact, we're going to headline it again this fall.
Wow, how interesting that not even knowing that they reached out to you. I mean, it kind of going on with current times. I mean, because of what we've been through the last couple of years with the pandemic and COVID and all that, you're hearing stuff on the news. A lot more people are committing suicide these days. I mean, just this past weekend we learned that legendary country singer Naomi Judd killed herself. Sad, but it's happening more and more. I mean, you look at a guy like Robin Williams, legendary actor. You'd never have any idea, like if you've seen any of these movies, funny guy. You'd never have an idea that he was depressed or anything.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's what you just don't know. It seems like the happiest people and stuff. I mean, it's kind of out of my realm because I've never thought of anything like that.
Yeah.
My dad had a saying: no matter how bad you got it, things are for you. Somebody's got it worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I always thought about that. I mean, because we've all had down times in our life. You just keep working your way out of it.
Yeah.
And I just, but we had a couple of guys in the band that committed suicide, and it was just really. I had been thinking about them, and I just thought, this is the right time to do this. And that track that Ripper, I mean, at the end, he creates a choir with his voice. The guy is just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a great guy. I mean, he's playing a concert with us this Saturday. He's coming into New York. Our record release is May 6th. The 7th, we're doing a live concert with Ripper singing us, fronting us. It's going to be just a great night.
Wow. Well, and as far as the two guys that committed suicide in the band, I was kind of curious. I understand what you're saying. The show must go on, and you want to go on with what you're doing. But did you ever have any thought about should we carry on without them? Was there any of that thought process when the loss originally happened?
Well, what happened is actually they did it once I stopped the band from playing.
Oh.
So I was a single dad raising my son, and that was more important. I
went
through a divorce. My son lived with me, and that was important. During that time is when this all happened.
Oh, wow.
And it was sad. One of them came and visited me the night before, and we rehearsed in the schoolhouse that we had. We started off in a slaughterhouse. I think I told you that before. It was an old pig slaughterhouse. We'd clean up the blood and we'd go play and rehearse. But then we got a one-room schoolhouse that we've rehearsed in for the last 20 years. And he said he wanted to come over, and he said, I just want to spend the night at the schoolhouse. And he spent the night in the driveway and came back over in the morning, said goodbye. He said, there's no chance you ever coming back into music. I said, right now I'm focused on my child. I've got a great career in real estate. I said, eventually I will, but if you're asking me today, the answer is no. He went home that night and killed himself. I mean, that's not the reason he did.
No.
He suffered depression and stuff like that, and I knew that.
No, but again, you hear a story like that, Tom, and taking part in one of these concerts to kind of raise awareness for stuff like that, I imagine it touches home even more when you've actually know somebody, a fellow bandmate, a friend who actually suffered that, and not that it's your fault, but because that's not at all true, but it shows you how important the band was to him. It shows you how much he loved doing what he did. And then in retrospect, if anything, it would kind of make you think, now maybe, maybe he knew he was going to do this. Maybe he wanted to see me one last time. Maybe he wanted.
He came out to say goodbye. That's the only thing. And going over to the rehearsal hall, he wanted to say goodbye. Because a couple members that had passed away, some of their ashes are in our rehearsal hall. They wanted to be there.
What a great tribute. And as sad as it all is, it also has got to be, I don't know, in a weird kind of way, comforting that I'm the last person he wanted to hang out with. I'm the last person he saw. I mean, just think about that. It's kind of amazing at the same time.
Yeah, it was, and we had a great conversation. I didn't suspect anything. I mean, I knew he wanted to play again. I said this band was great. I just said it's not my time right now.
Yeah.
It will come at some point, but it's not my time to do this. And I felt honestly grateful that he came out. In fact, on the album Fallen Brothers, the song Fallen Brothers, that's about the guys in the band, and then it morphed into a worldwide thing. It started off, I was writing about the band and all these people that had passed away and stuff, and everybody related to that song. And Ripper kills Fallen Brothers on the album too. We released that in 2016, the Fallen Brothers album, but I wanted to bring that back as a tribute to my old singer who passed away.
Oh, wow.
And he passed away 2 years ago, last year, and we did a big tribute to him. We did a great fundraiser, and with funeral costs, and helped his daughter out, and it was really nice.
Wow, that's amazing. And again, in regards to the new album, it's so simple, but I love the title of a new album, Great American Rock, because you know what? That's exactly what it is. I don't know if you've seen, I posted on my page yesterday that I've been listening also to the new Ted Nugent album. I mean,
yes.
And I put this right up there with that. I mean, it's kind of in that kind of, Uncle Ted Nugent, kind of American style of rock. That's what this is, and you guys are just great at what you do. And I think, like a lot of my favorite bands, like even on these last two albums, Epic and this one, you guys just get better and better with each album, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really we had such success with Ripper singing with us. I really wanted to bring Ripper back. Ripper came back for 10 tracks. And then we did our first ever, it was a live cut of the song Chaos. We've never done an instrumental.
Wow.
And we cut that Chaos tune, and it just, people were blown away. I mean, the crowd loved it and stuff. We just, one take, we're recording this live, and that's what we did. We cut it live, and it was done. No edits on that at all. We didn't have... We did add a couple things to it, like some gunshots and some sirens, but that's just us raw playing,
Wow, amazing. And again, I was wondering, Tom, we talked about this, I think, maybe in the last interview we did, but you're also the lead singer. So when the when the original singer left, is that kind of where you took over on the vocals? And I was kind of and I was kind of curious. Did it take you a while to get used to kind of feeling comfortable with your role as a singer?
It did. It did. I didn't want to be the singer, but it was, you know what, we had a rotating door of singers that would come through, and most of them alcohol or drugs, and we're a serious band, and you can't be out in front of 10,000 people and have a drunk there. Those 80s days are gone. You know, some of these singers still think they're living back in the Motley Crue days, and it just doesn't work out, you know. You can't get shit-faced, excuse me, you can't be drunk and be on stage, but so I just morphed into it, and the greatest show for me is like when I can just sing a few songs and I step back and Ripper Owens comes up there, or Lynn comes up there, or Mark Lopes, or somebody comes in and just sings with us. You know, we have a great time. It's just, I like that. I just soon sit back and play guitar. I mean, I don't consider myself a bad singer. I can hold my own. I can hit the notes. That's what I need to.
That's what I was getting ready to say. That it's kind of interesting. You like a lot of people, you start out as a guitar player and you kind of fell into the singing accidentally, and yet, like you said, you're not a bad singer. You can kind of hold your own. I think that's kind of cool to be in a position like that, you know?
Oh, yeah, and it's great to be able to harmonize with someone like Ripper. I mean, him and I work together fantastic on the stage. And, you know, and in the record, I did backup harmonies in there and stuff like that. Ripper did some incredible harmonies too, where I didn't even want to step in. I just said, you know, hey, like on Rise, it's like, I'm not going to do anything with that. In the studio, the guy says, what do you want to do? I said, it's perfect. So I don't need to.
So you said 10 tracks on the new album, right?
Yes.
And so does he take lead on all those tracks, or do you guys kind of, like you said, harmonize together?
He takes the lead on all the tracks. I just sing some backups onto that.
Oh, cool. And
go ahead.
I was going to ask, like on the last album, how did you guys initially hook up and get him to kind of come and play on that album?
So my manager knew Ripper, and we were getting ready to do this album, and we were talking, and he said, "Geez," he said, I said, I don't want to be the singer.
Yeah.
On this album, and manager said, "Well, do you want to talk to Ripper Owens?" Ripper and I talked on the phone. We got along great, and I sent him the song "Lightning." And Ripper called back and said, "Listen, I love this. Do the whole album." So what I did is I sang that whole album, and then handed it over to Ripper and let Ripper sing it.
Oh wow. And now, what's that like? Because I mean, this is your band, these are your songs, and I imagine having a guy like Ripper Owens come in and do his magic on your songs. That's gotta make these songs that much more special, you know.
It is. Well, I mean, like tonight, I did the Bon Scott in the middle of the album.
Yeah.
That's me. Because Bon Scott, I love that guy. So with this first album, Ripper basically mimicked what I did.
Okay.
You know, and he just kind of stepped, he added to it. But the second album, I said, Ripper, take free reign on this. I mean, we sang it, sent it to him, but he took it to another level.
Yeah, it's got that held hostage, sound, and I would just kind of describe it as kind of like especially epic, sounded like kind of 80s rock to me, and I love that. I love music from that time, and it seems like you guys are a band that you're proud of what you are. There's no apologies. You're just doing your thing, and that's kind of what I love about it,
Yep, and I wanted the music to evolve on this album, and it did. The Master. So the Master was, I just said I wanted to write this iconic riff on my guitar, and I called Scott Gregg at like 6 o'clock in the morning, the other guitar player, and I said, listen to this. I love this. So I wrote the first verse to it, and I got stuck. So Scott, for the first time ever, came over, and him and I wrote the second and third verses together. He had never really wrote with us, and I said, let's go ahead, and the Master came out great. And I'm trying to get the guys involved in writing more.
That's cool because then everybody kind of can bring their influence into the band. And what's interesting about Ripper, you're absolutely right. He's a perfect vocalist because not only he's got a great voice, but you go back to those albums he did with Judas Priest. He did a couple albums with Yngwie Malmsteen. He's done some albums like with the Three Tremors, and like even with the Three Tremors, Sean Peck I think writes most of that stuff. But yet, man, he can deliver the goods. Vocally. I'm talking about Ripper. No matter what style of music he's doing, and that's kind of what I love is this is kind of like different from what he did with Judas Priest or Yngwie Malmsteen, but yet he's got the voice to do it.
Oh yeah, Ripper's just he's a great guy too. You reach out to the guy and he's like, he's doing this week. He's doing promos for me for the concert. He goes above and beyond. He's a great singer, and he sends stuff over. Said, hey, what do you think of this? And I'd be like, I love it. Or a couple times I said, hey, why don't we try this? We work together great. Yeah. Because I produced the album, but really Ripper added a lot to this album. He especially like with the master, he had a lot of words into it, and he got them words in there. I mean, and he stretched them, and he did some things in there. It was just incredible.
And let's not forget, he's also in KK's Priest now, so he's a very busy guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then I think he does this show with us. And I think he goes to South America for a month or something.
Oh wow.
He's touring over there with his own band, the Ripper Owens.
Yeah.
So he's all over the place. But to work with someone like that, it's a pleasure. And he's so professional.
Yeah.
You never have to ask him for anything. It's always the tracks are doubled or tripled, or the backups come in perfect. I mean, he does the harmonies, and I'll go in and I'll add a couple harmonies in there. But the album, he just did such an incredible job. I couldn't have got a better singer. I mean, although I love Lynn Turner. Joe, at the end, we did that acoustic version of "Show Me the Way Back Home," the last track, track 12. I wanted to bring that back, but I mean, Joe's a great singer too. But Ripper to work with is probably he's the hardest working guy out there.
Now let's talk about Ripper a little more as far as when you guys recorded the new album. I mean, were you and him in the same studio? Did he kind of do it at his home studio, or how did that work?
He did it in his home studio. Oh. We just talked back and forth through text messages, email, and phone calls.
That's it.
But he would send it to me, and I mean, he just knocked it out of the park. I mean, everything he did was just great. I mean, even like the mellower song, I mean, Hold On, great tune. I mean, he tears that song up. I mean, it's just like, wow.
And see, I think people don't realize how long it's been since the last album, because you guys have been kind of working, the Epic album for the last several years, and I know a lot of that had to do with COVID, but you guys have kind of been out there. COVID doesn't seem like it really affected you guys all that much, except for, or did it?
No. We were able, during COVID, we pulled off some pretty big shows. We made sure the crowds were safe. I mean, at the peak of COVID, we did a show in 2020 outdoors. Yeah. We limited it to 350 people. They had to wear masks to come in until they sat down, but we sold out the show. Ripper came in and sang.
Wow.
Mark Lopes from Ross the Boss came in and sang with us. And Ross the Boss himself joined Held Hostage on stage, and we did a night of all Held Hostage that night.
Wow.
So it sold out. I mean, just quite a thrill, because Ross and I have been friends forever. I mean, I toured with Man of War. We were opening for Man of War when they were on their World's Loudest Band tour. When they came to the United States, Held Hostage jumped on tour with them. Yeah. Ross and I have been friends for years.
Ross is great at everything he's involved with. I mean, from the Ross the Boss band to when he was playing with Man of War. And another thing he's doing recently is he's gone back with the Dictators and the guy they got.
Bouchard.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Another great legendary musician in that band, Albert Bouchard. I just love what that guy does. He's put his last few solo albums have just been super. Albert's a super.
He's a great guy too. I ran into Albert out too. When we played the NAMM show with Metal Allegiance, I ran into Albert out there. We were talking, and he said, "Hey Tom, what's going on?"
Yeah, I just love his energy. I mean, I've interviewed him for his last two albums, and always a super nice guy, but I just love the guy's energy. It's so amazing. You find out, last time I talked to him, last year, about his latest album, 74 years old, and the guy is still out there doing his thing. He's playing the drums, he plays guitar, he's a frontman now. Great songwriter. I mean, still banging away at the drums at 74 years old. Can you believe it?
Oh, yeah. Well, when I seen him with Ross, he was in a band called the Brain Surgeons.
Yeah.
That's the first time I met him, and he was playing drums and singing.
Yeah, and then his brother Joe, who's also in Blue Oyster Cult, he's been putting out some great solo albums the last couple of years too.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I'm glad to be affiliated with these good people, and Ross is the first one to wish somebody well. Ross is probably the nicest guy too. He wants to see everybody succeed. Ross is not one of the musicians out there that want to see you fall. Me, I want to see everybody succeed. Why would you want to see somebody fall? Ross is one of them people like me. Him and I probably text once a day. We'll text a joke back and forth or something. It's always. In fact, this morning I think at 3:30 my text message went off because Ross was in Europe getting at home, and I started laughing. I said, "It's got to be Ross."
And the other thing Ross is involved with currently is the band Death Dealer. That's another thing Sean Peck's got, and great musicians in that band. And man,
the cool Stu Marshall too on guitar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And cool thing about Ross, like you said, besides him being a super talented guitar player and a super nice guy, I know he's a huge baseball fan. Another thing people may not know what he does on the side is he owns his own baseball cage, and that's the thing he's been doing for several years too on the side.
Yep, down in New York. Yes, absolutely. The cages. Absolutely. I talked to him when he's down there.
So have you ever been down there, and what's that like?
I've been. I played a show with Ross in New York, but his cages were closed. We talked about it, but we had taken a tour bus down there. us in New York City. I 55 seats I said available. They sold out in an hour.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so we took a whole load of people down to New York with us. We had a blast.
And again, talking about when Tim Owens comes out and plays live with you guys, I was curious. I mean, I know you got so much great original material of your own, but you ever do like a Judas Priest song or something with him, just for fun?
Well, the last time he was here,
yeah,
we were playing outdoors. Tim walked over and grabbed the other guitar player's guitar, and Scott Gregg's guitar, jammed some AC/DC and stuff, and then all of a sudden, we went in and we pulled off a killer version of "Living After Midnight" with him singing and playing lead guitar.
Yeah.
Tripper plays guitar too. He kicks behind guitar too. We had a blast.
And you know what I love about his attitude of doing something like that is, especially in living after midnight, he could be like a real ego bag and say, oh, well, that's not from my era of a band, but that's what he's known for. He was known for doing those songs in Priest too, so I dig the fact that he's willing to do that, just for the fans. I think it's cool.
Oh, the whole crowd just went nuts when he did that. I mean, it brought the house down.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Because Held Hostage never plays cover songs. We're always originals.
Because that's the point I was getting ready to make, is say that you guys have such great original material. There's really not a need to do that. And I think the name of the band is really, the more I think about it, Tom, it's so fitting, Held Hostage, because I could imagine somebody coming to see your band's concert and having to go to the bathroom. So, you know what? I'm going to wait till the band's set is over. It's just that good. Or, having the latest CD on, and you know what? No, I don't want to skip. Every track is good. I can't even think of skipping a track, So I think the title, the name for the band is very fitting. You kind of
absolutely. That's why it has a double meaning. I got it when the Iranians held the Americans hostage, and I always wanted the music to hold the crowd hostage.
And I think it's becoming more and more apparent. And so I know you guys have a video coming out also on May 6th. So what song is that for?
We Rock Hard, the title cut to the album.
Okay. Wow. And so you guys, I guess, are getting out there and doing more and more of these live shows, huh?
Yes. And we're in talks with in fact, I'll let you know once it's done,
okay.
Hopefully by Friday. We're in talks with a major act to do a tour with him. We're just trying to work out the logistics, He wants us to go for 2 months with him, and we'll see.
Wow.
But it will be the tour. If we can hook on this tour, I think everybody would be like, wow, because we match up to this band perfect.
And I imagine on a major tour like that, you guys are going to hit most of the major cities across the U.S.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It starts in Florida and ends in Texas with us. So we're going all out.
And so right now, have you guys played much outside of your local area?
Well, we've done United States tours and stuff. We've done tri-state tours. We've done 7-state tours. We've played California. We were out there for the NAMM show 2 years ago.
Wow.
We were the direct support act for Metal Allegiance, and those guys were great. That was, I don't think Dave Elfson's with him anymore, but Dave, I remember, what a nice guy. I remember sitting in the dressing room, and this guy comes and sits down and says, hey, I'm Dave Elfson, and introduces himself, just sits down like a normal guy.
Yeah.
What a great guy. And Dora was there, Chuck Billy, all those guys. And I remember we took the stage, and I see Elfson and them guys walking out, and by the 6th song, every one of them guys from Metal Allegiance was standing on the side of the stage. We come off the stage, and they're high-fiving us, going, you guys just blew this place away. You guys kicked ass. We're like, wow.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is just getting the band more and more out there. And, talking a little bit about the power of the internet, Tom, I'd imagine you're getting fans messaging you all around the world. That's got to be a pretty amazing feeling, like parts of the world that the band has never stepped foot in, or you personally, and to kind of think that people, around the world is checking out this album or our music,
We're getting a lot of airplay in Europe. Europeans are reaching out to us, and so is Asia. I mean, it's like they're following us, they're reaching out to us, and I mean, it really, and with our new record label, the distribution is unbelievable. We got Walmart's, Target's, Barnes and Nobles, over 200 stores are picking up this album.
Amazing.
They just,
I'm going to go to my local Walmart just to see if I can find it, because
right now it's Walmart online, but as soon as they start ordering, right now you can pre-order it. You can go to walmart.com online, type in Held Hostage, Great American Rock, it comes up. Target sold out of our Epic album.
Wow.
Because we had left the label, and obviously I just got the rights to Epic back, so I now own Epic again. When you know how the record deals
Yeah.
You license them out. My licensing deal is up. I was able to get it back. We parted this great company, Metal Mania Records pre-orders did a great job for us, but it was time to take another step.
Yeah.
And when Fire Rock Music Group stepped up and said, "Here's what we can do for you guys," and and Michael Brandvold, and it's like, the guy's a legend, from Kiss to Ozzy to
Britney Spears, and that shows you he can work with many different types of artists, and that's cool too. And and just talking about the reach of the band and hearing from people from Europe and Asia. Europe I could kind of see because, they love, they're really supportive of their bands, and they love a lot of American metal, American rock bands, and it's good to see that Asia's kind of starting to get that way. I understand, like, if you were to go play over there, they'd probably be a lot more receptive than a lot of even American fans. It's just amazing how receptive they are to this type of music.
Yeah, we picked up a lot of Asia, especially Japan is really, really loving us. I mean, we're getting a lot. I mean, there's pre-orders all over the world right now. The record label said we can't keep up with them. I mean, I don't know how many units they manufacture, but he said we're back in manufacturing again.
And just the fact that they're going to be re-releasing the Epic album that you sold all out of what was out there. That's amazing.
Yep. I see there's a few copies left, like on eBay. And I think Walmart had 2 copies left. They said in Amazon had 1 copy left. But once they're sold out, we're going to redo. We're probably going to run Epic, and what I want the new label to do, but it's up to them. I want them to. I think they're going to come out with a special vinyl, or limited version in vinyl of Epic.
And what's cool about that, Tom, is vinyl's been making a comeback like the last 10 or 15 years. And what I love about that is, let's be honest, a lot of people aren't buying CDs, but a lot more people are buying vinyl. And I talk to people who tell me, I don't even own a turntable, but I'm buying everything on vinyl just because I want to have a collection. And I think for bands, too, it's a great way to kind of break more even, because somebody's more willing, I think, to pay $25, $35 for a nice vinyl package. And then the bands, like I said, are able to break a little more even.
And if you do, like, I'm not sure, but I talked to them, and they said they're definitely going to do something with Epic. Obviously, I have to license it to them.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to know what we're going to do first. And that's what the deal was. I seen in writing what they were going to do for me.
Wow.
And it was like perfect.
And again,
let's make it happen. If you're telling me you're going to do this, then put it in writing, and I'll tell you, within an hour it was here.
And if you're getting,
well, they are serious.
And then in regards to the new CD that's coming out on Friday, if you're getting that many pre-orders, I mean, they're doing their job. I mean, they've, as far as just getting the word out about it.
Yep. I mean, we got an email last night that Poland is doing pre-orders. They're putting CDs into Poland.
Wow.
I was like, yeah.
Well, there's no supply chain problem there. I mean, you guys are delivering the goods, and I just think you can only go up from here. So congratulations on the upward trajectory.
Well, it's been great. And I'll tell you, I've got the greatest guys. I got to shout out to them: Scott Gregg, Dave Carroll, Jeff Murray. I mean, these guys are they're loyal, and they worked their butts off with me to get this album together. And they did a great job. Those guys, kudos to those guys. I don't think I could get better musicians. I mean, I've had great musicians, but I think the chemistry of the band that we have right now is one of the best that I've ever had. I'm not saying every player is the best, but in my eyes, they are.
Well, it's the current team, and it's kind of like a football team. When one guy leaves or is down, you bring somebody else in, and the show must go on, as we say. And the ones that are still there, everyone's doing it.
That's what happened with me as a singer. I mean, it was the night before we were playing a concert with Ethan Brosh. Our singer shows up drunk and quits. So I said, well, he was going to quit, and I said, no, you don't. Get out and don't ever come back. You're fired. So what are you going to do?
Ethan Brosh, man, that takes me back. He's a great player. I can't wait.
He is. Ethan's great. We toured with Ethan. Ethan was actually, we opened for Ethan, and the next tour, Ethan opened for us and Ross. Ethan came on the bill as the opening act for us. He's a great guy, great player.
Yeah.
But we were gaining popularity, and so the promoters flipped it around.
Yeah.
Fine. I didn't care where I was at. That's what I said. Didn't matter to me, and the promoter said, no, you're going to be the number. You guys are going to be the direct support act.
Oh, they can't argue with that. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so I said, okay, that's fine.
So let me ask you.
We're working right now is direct support for a major act. I mean, they said, if you guys come on this tour with us, we can work it out. You guys are going to be direct support.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to you again down the line, Tom, about that. But let me ask you, like, when you went to do Great American Rock, and you go in the studio and recording the songs, do you like write a whole bunch? You kind of write just as you're in the studio. Do you write a whole bunch of songs, or you just say, okay, I'm going to write 10 tunes, and these are the 10 tunes?
Well, I wrote actually for this album. It changed. So when we were first going in, there was 8 different songs that didn't make the album.
Okay.
So in like Rise I wrote Rise like 2 weeks before before we went in the studio.
Amazing. So, like, I'd imagine that's my question. I imagine there's a whole batch of songs that don't even make it onto the album. Do you save those maybe for a
future? I do, absolutely. I've got right now. There's about 80 songs that are set aside. I mean, they're just not for. I just started getting this theme, and I said, you know what? Let's just continue with the master. We rock hard. You rock our way. It's about you rock our way. It's just a great tune. I mean, I wrote that about. I used to stand out in the crowd and say, why don't you notice me? And that's one of the lines in there. You scream and bounce around and the band sees you, And then at the end, you're the guy on the stage, the band, you gave them one hell of a rock and roll show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just great stuff. And how hard is that, like, to decide what makes it onto the album and what doesn't? Because I'm sure a lot of the good stuff didn't make it. So do you talk among the band, or?
No, actually, I made the decision on it. I just went back and forth. I mean, I do throw it out to the band, but it was like some of the stuff. The album that was just, I wanted it to be cohesive and a little bit different.
Makes sense, yeah.
Even like the song "Your Eyes." I mean, that's just talking about these damn lying politicians, both sides.
Yeah.
It's not taking a stance, but the song "Your Eyes" is about how they lie. They create a narrative and they just follow each side.
Oh, I'm with you.
I'm so sick of people doing that.
You know, and not to get political, but I can't help but bring it up. I mean, last few days I've been hearing about stuff, this thing the president wants to create to tell us what we can write online, what we can't write, what's truth, what's not. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This new, what is it? Something.
Ministry of Truth or something like that.
Truth figure. Yeah. Okay. I think Americans are smart enough to figure it out on their own. We don't need somebody to tell us.
Yeah. But
that's we're in a free country, and I get sick of people. It's okay to freaking freedom of speech is good as long as you agree with it.
Yeah, I don't
care. I don't hate anybody. You can disagree with me all day long, and I'll still be your friend.
I mean, that's kind of the sickest thing about the whole thing is it's not so much about telling the truth; it's telling their truth, whatever their narrative of the day is, and unless you agree with it, then you're a bad person. And that's why a lot of I didn't mean to kind of go this way, but I don't understand a lot of musicians, even guys like Dee Snider, who people were once trying to censor their records. They want to censor everybody else now,
Yeah. Me, it's like I just let them. People should be able to say what they want to say, and everybody in America, it's freedom of speech. You can say what you want.
I'm with you there, and we'll leave it there, Tom. But like, anything else you want to say to the fans before we wrap it up for today?
Hey, I just want to say thank you. Our fans have been the greatest, and for this show too. These bands have been helping us out for the show. I know this is going to come out afterwards, but I want to say thank you to the band Jewel, thank you to the Crazy Neighbors, and thank you to my good friend Eric Haynes. Those guys are all coming out and donating their time to help Held Hostage release this new record, and they're just great guys, and the music people that I know are the best in the world. They really are. They all got big hearts. And
I guess before we wrap it up, the other thing I want to ask you, Tom, as far as guitar players or even singers or bands, who are some of your heroes growing up? The bands that influenced you, or even the guitar players.
Well, Ted Nugent, of course.
Yeah, I can kind of. Yeah.
Ted Nugent, Randy Rhoads, Tony Iommi, Ross the Boss. Ross the Boss was the guy that convinced me to become a lead guitar player. I was the rhythm guitar player in Held Hostage. It was my band, but we had a lead guitar player, and I couldn't find one. And Ross says, "Why don't you just be the lead guitar player?" So I never thought about that. Ross should come over after Man of War rehearsals. We'd sit up, we'd party a little bit, and we'd play guitar all night long.
Wow.
So Ross is a great influence too. I mean, that guy can play anything from B.B. King to you name it.
Yeah, just totally amazing. And Randy Rhoads, what's amazing about his legacy is there's no doubt about, he died tragically young and what a huge talent he was. But if you think about it, he did those 2 Quiet Riot albums, but outside of Japan, not too many people have heard of him. And so he's pretty much known for those 2 Ozzy albums. And it's amazing the legacy and the influence that he's had on generations, since 40 years ago.
For somebody for just such a short time in this earth to do what he did, I mean, there's few people. Jimi Hendrix, he died at 27. Randy died at 24.
Yeah.
I mean, there's few people that short span of life that they were able to accomplish what he did. And those 2 albums were masterpieces. Yeah,
and you mentioned Hendrix. I mean, when you look at what he did on guitar, I mean, he played the guitar with his teeth. I mean, just his dynamics, he was like a triple threat, great singer, songwriter, guitar player. Could do it all, but he's really only got I think 3 official releases. People think he's released a lot more music because he's actually had a lot of releases since he died, but he's only really got, if you look on his official discography, I think there's only 3 official releases. Kind of amazing too.
Same thing with the Doors, though. You look at what Jim Morrison did. I think they only did, what, 2 albums? The Doors, 2 or 3 albums?
Yeah, and again, look at his leg. It's just amazing, you know.
Yeah, so these people like that, you got to look up to people like that. I just say, wow, what an impact they've made on many people's lives and stuff. And hey, I hope I'm able to make an impact on one person's life and help them.
I think there's no doubt you have. I mean, the fact that, you know, the Epic album all these years later is finally sold out, and that's going to get a nice re-release, it looks like. And I'll just say this, Tom, as we wrap it up for today. Your latest album, Great American Rock, I dare say the problem I have is deciding which is a better album, this one or Epic. But I think I'm loving the new one, so I'm going to go with the new one. Both great albums, but I think this is kind of equivalent to Kiss's Destroyer. I say that because, not that you sound anything like Kiss, but like, that's a classic album. That's one of my all-time favorites in my collection. I think one day somebody's going to have this Held Hostage album in their collection and say, you know, that's the band that did it for me. I mean, that album, the new album is just that good.
I appreciate that, and that's, you know, when I was writing this album, I wanted the music to evolve. And people had said, you're never going to top Epic. I said, watch. And the next one up will top this.
I was just getting ready to say that this is my favorite album until your next one. You know.
Yep.
Well, Tom, thanks for taking time.
Thank you so much. No, thank you so much, and everything you do for people in the music business. You guys like you is what makes it happen.
Well, we love the music that we support and promote, and that's why we do it. I've had people ask me a few times, hey, you know, why when you write up a CD review or something, is it all good? Because I only want to spread the love about what I love. I don't want to badmouth anybody, because I'll tell you, even for the biggest, suckiest band, I give it to them for having the nerve I can't do. I can't get up on stage and write a song and play music. So anybody that can, you know, even gives it a shot, I have a little bit of respect for, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to get out there and do your own albums and write your music and stuff like that. And I do the same thing with people. I try to encourage them. Like my friend Eric Haynes, I just said, hey, listen, here's what you need to do. You need to do this in the studio, and I'm helping him. Eric's a great American hero. He's a veteran, you know. He's a war veteran, and I'm letting him open shows for us. He's doing his own country thing. We're a rock band, but I'm helping him come along because I really believe there's something there for him, Joe.
Well, you take care, Tom, and have a great day, and best of luck with the new CD and everything and the upcoming tour. And I'm going to post the video, because I imagine it's going to be online Friday, so people can see that.
Yes.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
Chaotic Riffs Magazine.